Ovaj čovjek kojeg sada vidite je David Kultard, jedan od najboljih vozača u istoriji Formule 1, te legenda ovog sporta koji je upravo po prvi put u životu isprobao burek. Mada, više o tome ćemo nešto kasnije, ali ono što morate znati je da je on bez dileme obilježio ovaj sport u svakom mogućem pogledu i učinio da mnogi iz moje generacije zavole Formulu. A ovo ovdje sam ja. Jedan sasvim običan lik iz Banja Luke koji još kao mali zavolio putovanja, a onda mnogo godina kasnije počeo nešto i da snima, te nastavio da luta po svijetu. E sad ljudi, spletom nekih neobičnih životnih okolnosti, on i ja spojili smo se u Sarajevu. U sklopu Red Bull show run događaja i vjerovatno najvećeg spektakla kojeg je naša zemlja imala u proteklih nekoliko godina, a kroz ideju nekih divnih ljudi iz Red Bull tima dobio sam i priliku da ga ne samo provedem gradom, već isto tako i pitam neke stvari i naučim nešto više o njemu.
Još fanovo.
Kako je to sve izgledalo, šta smo tačno radili, o čemu smo razgovarali i da li moj burek iz posača među top jelima koje je probao, saznaćemo upravo sada.
First of all, David, thank you so much for coming to Sarajevo, for coming to Bosnia. We are huge fans of your work, and me as a kid, I really watched you guys race all the time. And
thank you.
I really want to show you something about the country so to make you come to visit us one day. But the place where we started the tour is probably the most famous place in the city and in the country. It's called Sebil.
Okay.
It's a fountain, and used in the past, there were like 300 fountains of this type. Unluckily, we had a fire like 300-400 years ago, so all of them were burnt instead of this one.
Okay.
So this one is made from wood, stone, and actually copper.
Okay.
And it's one place where people usually take like selfies here.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I would like at each spot we take like a selfie.
Selfie time. Yep.
But also, I know that you actually raced in more than 200 races. We had 300 fountains, but you raced in more than 200 races. You won like 62 podiums. You finished 2 times like runner-up. What would you say was the most like important moment in the career? And do you actually like remember the first and the last race that you had?
Well, I think that, well, first of all, thank you for bringing me here. I managed to cool my hands down in the fountain. It's a very hot day, but you know, this is clearly an important meeting place, isn't it, for people in Sarajevo, which has just been brilliant to get to see, and we're going to explore a little bit more. But yeah, look, I think having been a Grand Prix driver, I remember the beginning, 94 Barcelona, and I remember the end, Brazil 2008, and it was a roller coaster all the way along. You said you were watching a lot of the races at that time, and you know, before I was driving, I was like you, watching the races, and now I watch the races. So we're both fans of the sport.
Do you mind taking one?
Yeah, sure.
Here. Now we'll try some local food.
Okay.
Actually, people here in Bosnia eat a lot of meat, and I don't want to take you to one cevapi place, but we go to try burek. So burek is one of the probably most famous dishes that we have here in the country. It's for the coffees, for the like plates.
Yeah.
Poštovanje.
Hello.
So they can make you anything, and it's all handmade, really unique, authentic, and it's passed by from one generation to another, basically. Do you want to see it?
It's okay, I don't disturb them, but it's impressive. Brilliant.
Well, yeah.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I wanted to ask you about your son, who is now racing, and how does it feel to look from the perspective of being a father, stress-wise, and how do you think your mom actually felt when she was watching you race?
Yeah, it's another experience, I have to say, a little bit uncomfortable to be watching him race, and but he wants to do it, so in the same way that I wanted to do it, then of course I have to support him, but I want him to be safe, of course.
And do you think you're more stressed watching him or more stressed when you drove, actually?
Oh, definitely more stressed watching him, because you have no control. Where when I was driving, I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was controlling, and I don't actually. It's given me another perspective of what it was like from my parents.
Okay. And when you could give him one advice, let's say, what is the advice you would like usually give him from all the experience that you had?
Just, he's got to work hard. I think that talent is one thing, and there's lots of talented young racers out there, but I don't know if you really understand, because I didn't understand when I was 15 just how hard you have to work physically, mentally, with people. You have to go and make the opportunity happen. You cannot wait for it to come to you.
And where do you think it actually clicked for you? Like, when moment did you realize I could actually be a Formula One driver?
I first drove a Formula One car as part of an award when I was 19, and that really helped me a lot because it made me realize it's just a car. Of course, it's a fast car, but it's just a car. But I think when I became test driver at Williams, it felt like this was the final step. But you never truly know until you get the opportunity.
When you take a look at your life now, I mean, you met probably amazing people around the world. Who would you say is the most extraordinary person you ever met? It doesn't need to be like Formula One racer.
The
Who
Queen.
Do you like to remember? The Queen.
Yeah, that was. Wow. I had the privilege to meet the Queen. I've met our King, but for me, she was an incredibly, stoic and let's say great example of leadership for a country.
So we arrived at a place where we'll try such. You see, in the local language, you have many of these. So you would read this burek džinica.
Okay.
Is the place where they make burek.
Is this burek?
Yeah, this is burek. It's with milk. They put like cream on the top.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Excellent, excellent.
And it can be served like burek is the one with meat, but you can also get a pie with cheese, with vegetables. It depends what you like, but you'll get the one.
How many? The heat there. How many years has this guy been working there? Hello. It's okay to look.
Yeah, sure. You
Thank
can go.
you. Hello. How are you? Wow, it's so hot.
It's so hot. Hotter than in a car, or?
Are you okay?
Yes, but I don't like filming. So
Yeah.
don't film me.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Very
Formula One
hot.
car feels the same hot or less hot?
This is more hot.
This is more hot.
How many years have you?
3 years.
Yeah.
Years.
Fucking hell, man, you must sweat like. Excellent.
Well, imagine like that 10 hours
Yeah.
every day. One, but this is the place for us.
Okay,
You
excellent.
can
I
have
go
a
here?
seat, and quite heavy but quite tasty, and one of the best places in the cities by far here to make it.
Excellent.
And by the way, what is your like diet? Do you eat healthy even now when you stopped?
Yeah, I'd say I'm reasonably healthy. I like a lot of salads and fish and things like that. But of course, I have my moments where I'm not really a big burger person, but occasionally, if it's a really good, like in a restaurant burger, but I would not go to fast food.
Okay, but when you raced, did you have like some specific like diet that you had to follow? Or?
Yeah, no, I was very disciplined. I was 10 kilos lighter than I am now.
But you're still very fit.
But I was like this, and I was just, my breakfast, my lunch, everything was just very focused on what I needed for my training, and so I've always been disciplined.
And would you say that the word that you mentioned now, like discipline, would be the key word for being a good Formula One driver?
Absolutely. I don't believe any of the top drivers have got there without a discipline, without an absolute focus.
And you drove with so many guys. Who would you say is the most underrated guy that you ever, like, who never got the recognition that you think he actually deserved?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not that he didn't get the recognition, but he never got the opportunity. I would say Robert Kubica from Poland, because he was definitely one of the big talents, but he had an accident, and then they had to reattach his arm, and then his career went off the rails. But I think he was a lost talent. But the others, I think in the end, you somehow find your opportunity. Yeah.
And I know it's probably something that people ask you all the time, but would you say who is the GOAT? I know
Senna.
it's hard, but Senna is the GOAT?
Yeah, Senna's the GOAT, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like, do you think that maybe Max can get him in 10
Sure.
years? Or?
Of course, everyone has their own personal GOAT.
Yeah.
And Max is unbelievable. He's so talented and he's deserving the results he's getting. And for the young guys growing up today, they'll look to him in the same way that, you know, I looked to Senna, and then I was lucky enough to work with him, and then sadly he passed away.
One thing I'm really curious actually is there is one word in the local language which doesn't exist in any other languages. It's called actually chafe.
Okay.
Chafe is basically pleasure of doing nothing. You only sit in the Balkans.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like sipping coffee, talking to a friend,
Yeah.
eating something, and it's what makes people happy here.
Yeah. Wow,
This is
look
only
at
for us,
that.
yeah. So we need to finish it now.
That looks great. Is it hot? Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good combination. But what I actually wanted to ask you,
Like this?
you can do it like that, or you can drink the yogurt. You can just sip it
okay.
and eat. But this is also good. This is very local
Okay,
style.
I'm going for it.
And let me know how does it feel. It's good. I will do like you.
That's very nice, isn't it?
It's nice.
You know what it actually reminds me of? It reminds me with the meat a little bit like what we call a Scotch pie.
Okay.
We eat it in a shell, but the meat and the texture is very much like a Scotch
Really?
pie.
If we go to Scotland one day, what is a dish we must try in your home?
Haggis.
Haggis. What is haggis?
Haggis is made from lamb. It's put inside a lamb's stomach, boiled.
Okay.
It's got the texture of meat, but it's made from parts of the lamb that you wouldn't serve directly on the plate.
Okay. But of all the races, of all the places, of all the people, of all the things that you actually got, what you actually talk about now, how does one stay like humble, and how do you be happy now when you have everything one can buy and one can dream of?
I'm just really appreciative of the journey I've had. You know, I grew up in a small village, loved my childhood. Family gave me an opportunity. I took the opportunity, and it continues to fuel my sort of passion for Formula One and travel. I had my time. I don't want to race anymore, but I'm happy to watch others and to see my son develop.
When did you felt like it's time to stop? It was a period that was like going through your head for some months, or you just came one day to the point that now I stop?
You just know. I never knew what it would be not to race until that feeling came, and then it's when you lose the hunger. The minute you don't have the hunger, it's done.
I mean, to like work out every day, to train, to...
It wasn't really the training, it was driving the car. You've got to push so much. It's hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. But if you take a look back now in the past, what would you say are the biggest pros and cons of being David Kultard now? What do you miss?
I guess the downside is I'm constantly moving, constantly traveling, and that fuels my life. The upside is I get to experience things like this in a way that I would never do.
Okay. What was the craziest place people took you? Like, so you would go to one destination, people want to show you something. What is the experience you like remember for being funny or unique or different than any other?
Wow. I've been all over the world, but I really like Japan.
Okay.
So getting out Tokyo is interesting, but getting out into the countryside and just staying in a simple Japanese hotel, sleeping on the floor.
Okay.
So Asia. Yeah.
Could you maybe live there, or it was only fun for like
Yeah,
visiting?
no, I could live there.
Okay. What is really amazing is that I mentioned the word chafe recently. What is really cool for Bosnia and all the Balkans is that every time of the day, being Monday, Tuesday, the weekends, every like coffee place would be full. So there is the fact that the first coffee place in the city was actually opened 1536.
Okay.
5 centuries ago almost. So 120 years before the first coffee place in London, Paris, or any other city. So people like chilling, drinking coffee, basically doing nothing and just enjoying. And
yeah. But it's obviously a very creative workforce here, because all of these items, are very hello, hi.
And people are very friendly.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Because a lot of
his son was actually watching Formula 1.
Fantastic.
In Italy.
Fantastic.
I also have fans here.
They want a picture with him, not
Hey, go for it.
Postoji ljudi koji se hoće sa mnom slikati, a ne sa Davidom. Haha. Bome, puno neobičnih putovanja, intervjua, ali bez dileme nešto najluđe i prvi put stres osjećam zbog nekog snimanja, iskreno. Ali onaj pozitivni, dobri. Čovjek je institucija, legenda sporta i sam prilika da budemo sa njim je baš nerealno. I want to ask you when we talk about unique things, is there some anecdote or unique experience that you never mentioned on any TV to anyone? Can you make the exclusive premiere or something for us here now?
Oh wow! I probably haven't mentioned it because it was something kind of crazy. But no, look, I've had so many opportunities, and traveling the world with Formula One, and it's just you get to see, in the way that you're doing your travel guides, I get to see the countries and the cities. I've been to Star City in Russia, where they train and the astronauts.
Okay, wow.
And I went through a training program with Mika Hakkinen, my old teammate, and that was really interesting to see. At that time, the Soyuz space rocket, and to try and imagine being strapped in that. So that was probably one of the most extreme things. But I've been up with the Red Arrows. I've been in so many different places that, but nothing I haven't really kind of maybe shared in the past. But in the context of what you're doing, where you're showing people the world and creating opportunities for them to see a little window of that country, then I guess in many ways we're the same, because I've been going to, all over South America, North America, Middle East, Asia, Australia. I've gone all around the world, and I was going to the Middle East back in the early 90s. So to see how much that has changed and developed is really impressive, and how their wealth is allowing them to make places like Dubai out of nothing. It's remarkable, really, isn't it?
By the way, when you mentioned that, this is called Begova Mosque, a mosque from 16th century. And what is unique about it, it was the first mosque in the world that had electric lighting. So first mosque in all the Islamic countries that had light inside. And it's really unique for that. One of the many mosques that you have here.
It wasn't damaged during the Troubles?
It was not. But what I wanted to ask you, you mentioned actually Mika. And I think while watching Formula as a kid, I never saw a good teammate relationship like with you guys. What was it that made you so connected?
I think that and it was tough sometimes being teammates. We didn't always see eye to eye, but I think we realized we were both in the same sort of trajectory. We were both trying to win Grand Prix, trying to get to a championship, and so we understood that the way we would get there was by working together. And I've got to say, Ron Dennis, who ran McLaren at that time, was very good at always bringing us together, and dinners and training and social events. And that not many people do that. And the teams, a lot of the drivers don't really kind of mingle together. But Ron, it was an important thing for him.
What is your favorite memory with Mika and the guys? What is something that would come back to your mind now?
Oh, God, we had so many parties, you know, with Mika and Michael, and you know, we would be fighting each other on the racetrack. But then, you know, we'd have an end of season and we'd all get together, have a few drinks, and just have some good times.
Nice. By the way, what do you actually see here, Britain?
Sarajevo, meeting of culture.
Yes, and what would you see if you look here and if you look this way? Does it strike a difference?
Taller buildings.
Would it be like kind of old part and kind of new part?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If this would be the old formula and the new formula, what is the difference now when you raced and when you see guys racing now?
Well, the essence of Formula One is the same. It's a set of regulations. The guys have to design the car, make it go as quick as possible, and the driver drives it. The technology today is the, you know, let's say state-of-the-art technology, but the essence of Formula One remains the same. You've got to, you know, you have to find the loopholes in the regulations to deliver performance.
Okay. And let's say if you would have a very good racer and a bad car, and a good car and a bad racer, and they compete, who do you think would win that race?
Oh, I think always the best car with an average driver will beat the best driver in a bad car, because the technology is the most important. Once you've got great technology, of course you attract the best driver and then it supercharges it. So, you know, the two things always need to go hand in hand, but the car and the team, without a great car and a great team, you cannot win.
I'm sure that people want to know some facts about or some experience from the inside of the car. How actually hot it is inside the car, and how many kilos do you lose per one race?
Yeah, I don't know the exact temperature, but because you have the radiators right beside and they're 100 degrees, and that radiates into the carbon fiber, it's incredibly hot. You know, it's like a sauna in the cockpit. And during a Grand Prix, you'll lose a couple of kilograms just in dehydration.
Okay. Do you think I can be Formula One driver with a build like this?
Yeah, if you trained, no question. But I couldn't do a Grand Prix now at my age without training. So you have to be an athlete. You have to train like an athlete. You have to perform like an athlete. And if you do that, you can drive the Formula One car.
And you think it's more mentally or more physically challenging?
It's a combination, but I'm going to say mentally, because the mind controls the body, not the other way.
Okay. And let's say you have last 2 laps, and does it get like, my God, like I need to finish this, or like how do you get your mindset to perform maximum at every single lap, every time?
Yeah, the mindset, there's definitely a much bigger sort of push until the final pit stop. And then once you've done your final pit stop, unless something happens, that tells you where you are. So mentally, you're pushing like crazy till that last stop. And then when you come out from there, you find out, are you leading? Are you fifth? You know, what can you do?
So you don't know actually which place you are during the race all the time?
Not all the time, because if somebody pits before you, and then you pit, their outlap, they could be quicker and then they jump in front of you. You never really truly know until you come out of the pit lane. Track position is king.
Of all the 200 races that you did, do you have one that would you say I did this the best way? Like I could not do this better?
Magny Cours 2000, I think was an incredibly strong race. I had to overcome both the Ferraris, overtake them on the track and win that Grand Prix. I think Monaco the second time was a flawless performance in many ways. So yeah, a couple of times I had some good races. What do we have here?
We are finishing our tour.
Okay.
We take the last selfie, but also the last thing, I want to teach you something in the local language.
Okay.
And I want to teach you something actually I want to learn something in like British Scottish, but This is the cathedral. The Pope was also here. This is the Pope. He also came to visit us. So what we take a lot of pride is that Sarajevo is called Jerusalem of the Balkans.
Okay.
Many cathedrals, many churches, mosques, synagogues. So basically everything. You need to have a multicultural country, and really they're all next to each other here.
Yeah, fantastic.
Let's take a final selfie.
Okay.
And
let's go.
I want you to teach us something very Scottish that only Scottish people know, and I will teach you something very local that
Okay.
people will recognize you when you go somewhere. What will be the most Scottish word or Scottish phrase?
Okay, the new.
Ahaidenu.
Okay, the new.
Ahaidenu. What does it mean?
It means, are you okay? Are you okay just now? Are you? So if you go to Scotland and you say to the cab driver or someone on the street, okay, the new,
Ahaidenu.
you're saying to them, how are you?
When you come here, we say Jesse brate,
Jesse.
šta ima? Jesse brate,
Uh-huh.
šta ima?
Jesse Brata Steimer.
Jesse brate, šta ima?
Jesse Brata Steimer.
Amazing. It means,
What
what's
does
up,
it mean?
mate? How are you?
Jesse Bata Steimer.
Yes.
Jesse Batty Steimer. No? Yeah.
Thank you so much, David.
There we go.
It
Cheers.
was really
Thanks.
pleasure to meet
Cheers.
you, man.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so
man.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Iako smo David i ja zajedno proveli 2 sata u razgovoru koji će u mom sjećanju bez dileme ostati urezani čitav moj život i kojeg ću vjerovatno prepričavati svojim unucima jednoga dana, pojedine stvari njega volio bih iskreno da zadržim za sebe. Jeste da nam je prije našeg susreta bilo rečeno da sa njim imamo 40 minuta vremena, sam David je nekako, kako je vrijeme išlo, jednostavno odlučio da nastavimo našu priču, a kako je sunce vani bilo više nego jako taj dan, te prelazilo dobrih 30 stepeni, pozvao nas je te počastio pićem. Ej, David Kultard mi je platio piće u Sarajevu, a ja njemu pokazao da se burek ne može jesti bez hladnog jogurta. Kakva ludnica od dana! Mada, još veća ludnica dočekala nas je i naredni dan na već spomenutom Red Bull showrunu koji je bio spektakl kakav ne vjerujem da će se uskoro ponoviti.
Very much. You've been amazing. Oh, I dropped the phone.
I dok posmatram njegovu formulu kako lagano odlazi, ne preostaje mi ništa drugo nego da se još jednom zahvalim čitavoj ekipi iz Red Bulla na onom što su nam priredili, na prilici da čuveni DC dođe u našu zemlju i da svi mi mali obični ljudi uživamo u čarima najskupljeg sporta na planeti. Ja se ljudi isto tako nadam da ste vi uživali u našem razgovoru, da ste možda kojim slučajem tog 9. juna bili u Sarajevu i da ćete priču na ovaj dan prenositi dalje kako bi drugi vidjeli da je Sarajevo bez dileme svjetski grad. Veliki pozdrav od mene, dobri ljudi, a mi se vidimo u nekoj novoj priči sa putovanja.